When you have your girls, you're never alone. You get together for coffee, maybe to work out, or just to laugh. We created Hey Girl, just for you. Can't wait for you to join us.
Hello and welcome to Hey Girl. I'm your girl, Kim with an E, and this is episode 58. Now, if you're joining us for the first time, Hey Girl has been a safe space where you can share your experiences and be affirmed. And this safe space has been here for over a year. We're so excited to have celebrated a full year of broadcasting, and we're glad that you have been here with us. Because let's face it, life can be complex and sometimes overwhelming, but we believe in the power of conversation because knowing you're not alone is what helps us get through. And I'm so glad you are here today with us. This is Mom's Month, and we have been celebrating moms all month long, not just on Mother's Day, but the entire month of May is all about moms. So I hope that you are ready for another great conversation. Tell me in the comments that you're here, say hello, and tell me where you are joining us from. I know that everybody's not right here in Huntsville, so put in the comments what city and state you are watching us from. And I want to just remind you to check out the justkim.net website. Remember, there's all kinds of goodies there for you to download, resources, and there's also the Hey Girl store, which I don't want you to forget about because I am adding some new products for you to enjoy. Now, maybe some of you have already enjoyed some of the cute mugs and phone cases that we have there, but I'm going to be adding some new things, including these adorable little greetings cards that have encouraging messages and our artwork on them. So I'm really excited to share those with you. And I need you to send me a note, to heygirlfb@gmail, and let me know if you're interested in these little note cards because I actually haven't even added them to the website yet. So if you send me an email and let me know that you would like to get your hands on those, I will be sure to let you know when they will be available. Well, I mentioned that this is Mom's Month, and we kicked off the first week of the month with the Hey Girl Roundtable, and we talked about all the things because whether you are a mom or have a mom, there's just a lot that we can talk about. There's lots of lessons that we've learned and can learn through the experience of motherhood. And motherhood has many faces. There's the first time mom, the older mom, the adopted moms, the women who are like moms. And so, one way or another, we all have someone in our life who we could probably look to as a mom. And I certainly think that our guest today fits that category. Um, Aunt Joe is just kind of everybody's mom in our community, honestly. She's such a loving and warm person. I am excited to introduce her to you tonight. Now, Jocelyn Thomas was born in Jacksonville, Florida, to a minister father and homemaker mother, David and Bernice Reed, and she has a big brother named Bert. She graduated with a nursing degree from Union College and practiced public health nursing in St. Louis, Missouri. I was actually born in St. Louis and Buffalo, New York. At age 26, family, friends, and relatives engineered a meeting between her and Claude Thomas Jr., a widower with three children. When they met, Joe says she heard God say, "Joe, this is your husband." And the rest is history. Fast forward 50 plus years, five children, 13 grandchildren, and five great grandchildren later, Mr. and Mrs. Thomas are experts in parenting and marriage, as a matter of fact. They began doing workshops and marriage retreats, and all of that good knowledge and information is now compiled in a book. It is called Becoming a Professional Lover. I love that. A weekly devotional for learning to love God's way. Currently, Aunt Jo serves as the primary caregiver to her husband, Claude, who is battling several health challenges. And when asked how she stays so cheery and optimistic through it all, she confidently answers, "God chose me for this, and I depend on him to help me." That is fantastic. Would you put your hands together with me to welcome my Aunt Jo Thomas. Yay! Welcome, Aunt Joe.
Thank you,
How
Kim.
how are
It's
you?
delightful. I'm delighted to be here. Always willing to
Oh,
share.
you are such a blessing to me, to us, all who know you, and I'm just
Praise the
thrilled that
Lord.
you were able to be here with me today. You're looking well.
Thank
You're
you.
looking beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I think one thing that is so amazing about you is just how optimistic and positive you always are, regardless of what's going on in your life. So, how do you do that? What
Well,
is your secret?
I think my secret, I would say, would be that I'm a child of the King of the
Mm,
universe. So with him, all things are possible. And I really
indeed.
believe that, Kim. I really believe that. And if
Yeah.
I'm here and he placed me in this position, he and I can do this.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's such a
Yeah.
great attitude to take because you have a unique story, right? I mean, you were a young woman who married a ready-made family. Was that not a little intimidating when
Well, I don't know. I may be unique in my answer, but at age 14, I told the Lord that if I should get married, my uncle advised me to that, to pray from that age, that if I get married, that the Lord would be the one to choose for me. And I made that a motto. So I enjoyed my life until I found a husband, until God gave me Claude. And that was a no-breaker right there for me, you know.
you just
So if God did this,
yeah.
this is a good thing. This is good.
Wow.
And it has
Wow.
been good. I've learned a lot of things.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that's really a testament to having a relationship with God because
That's
what,
very important. He's very important in my life. Very
right.
important in my life.
Yeah, I think that's really important for people to hear because a lot of times we just look at it from the human perspective, like, oh my gosh, how could you handle this or that? And how could
Yeah,
you have,
yeah.
but I mean, that's not your own power, right?
I didn't see this as a problem. I didn't go into it as a problem. It
Hmm.
was just something that you do
Yeah.
because I was prepared to be a wife whenever God decided to choose the person for me. That was the choice I made, to allow God to choose for me. And he did that.
Hmm. Awesome. So you were chosen, the Lord chose for you a husband and you became his wife, but then you also became immediately a mother.
A mother,
And
yes.
I'm interested in knowing in those early years, what were some of the challenges with that? Because the reality is these children had lost their mother and tragically. And so there must have been some healing that was needed. There must have been some mourning that they were doing as a family. So how did you all navigate? How did you as a new mom, a new wife navigate?
A very interesting thing, Kim. My father was a minister, and I was living in Buffalo at the time, and I was in church one Sabbath, and Elder Hudson was visiting the church and speaking for Dad that day. And he told the story about this gentleman, about this brother that he knew, young man that had lost his wife and left 3 children. And in that audience, my heart went out. I just felt so pained for that young man, never knowing that that was going to be my husband. But that's where it all began. My heart went out to this young man and these children, so that when I met them, it was it's an interesting story, Kim. Don't get me started. We'd be here all day and all night talking about
We're
this
here.
story, but
We're here to
I do
listen to
love it.
the
I do love it. And so that when I did meet him, I was walking across the state, an auditorium where they crowned Miss America. And as I was walking, my aunt was taking me to meet this young man. And the Lord said audibly, I heard it audibly, no one else heard it. Joe, now this is the man I've chosen for your husband. And I was very
story.
relaxed. I wasn't excited. I went over, we met, we sat down, and of course he put on that big voice, to impressive voice, but I was already impressed by the Lord. So
That's so funny.
from that point on, in 6 months, we were married. And he had
Wow.
told his children that we would not marry unless they gave him permission to marry, because
Mhm.
they were his children and they came first. And I really admired that in a man who had children, and he was responsible for them. So he wanted them to be happy. And of course, that night when we met, Patty right away was a little girl. She said, "This is our new mommy." My oldest son, Claude Jr., the third, said, "Dad needs a wife." And Brian was the one that said, "I'll let you know, Dad." So it wasn't several weeks later, I was visiting and we went to the New York's World's Fair, and Brian came up and said, "Daddy, you have my permission." So I love him special because he was the last to give permission. So that's a special thing right there. It binds us together.
Brian has basically been asleep his whole life, is what you're saying.
You know, Brian is the scientist in the family, so he has to do some research. So we laugh about that.
That is so funny. Okay, so tell me now the ages of everyone. I know Patty was just a little, she was like 3 years old or so.
Patty was 4 years old.
Yeah.
Brian was, I think Brian was 7 or 8, and Jackie was 11.
Okay. And they had been without their mother for how long before you came along?
About a year.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
About a year.
That's really fresh.
I think I had that right. No, maybe it was 6 months, because then we married 6 months later. I think that's the way it is. All happened within a year. That's the way I would put it. And my family knew about Claude. We call him Jackie, so I would just say Jackie. That's his nickname. And my cousin's husband and Jackie grew up together, so that when Carol died, Betty right away, that's my cousin who was married to Robert, said, "I know just the one for Claude, for Jackie, and that's Joe." And I said, "Hey, you know, I don't know him, and when I get married, I want to marry Honey and I, and then baby makes 3." But so that's not the way it worked. God had another plan. I've always loved children. In fact, I started working in the cradle roll division of the church when I was 10 years old. So I've always been working with children all my life up to that point. And then I had just scores and scores of teddy bears and dolls all in my room. So I had all that. I finally gave all those to Patty when we finally got together. But I've always loved children.
Oh, wow.
So I guess I was prepared for the job.
Didn't even know you were prepared.
God was doing all of this. God was doing all of this. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the kids took to you right away then, and
yes, they did. I think the main reason, or the real deal in this situation, is that Daddy told, and I call my husband Daddy. Daddy told the kids, did I have this in right, that he would not marry unless they gave permission. So they felt valued at that point. They were important. They were important.
So it was up to them whether you all.
It's up to them. So that when we got married, I was in.
Yeah.
It was a done deal.
Yeah. Well, I think what amazes me, and I guess it just shows that it was a God thing, is that they were ready to accept you. So
they were ready. They were ready. They were ready. And I told them I would never try to take the place of their mother. Carol was their mother, their birth mother. And I am filling in after she was resting in Jesus. Now it's my turn to carry them on. And I wouldn't ever try to replace her. I couldn't do that. I told them I wish I could have been their biological mother, but that's not how it happened. So that I love them very much.
Mm-hmm. So did you have to do some of that comforting of them as they mourned the mother they lost? I mean, that was still very fresh. Even if they accepted you, did you find yourself when people have a loss like that,
there were times in my oldest son, I remember one night that he was crying out in his sleep in a dream, and I ran and he just held on to me and cried, said his mom was trying to reach out to him and he knew she was not living. And we just hugged each other, and it was just a beautiful bonding for us, And he was very close to his mom. He was the first child. And he's still, we talk about her. We're comfortable now. I try to allow them to be comfortable around me talking about their mother, pictures of them, and we We look at family history. We now talk about Carol and Jackie. We just did that the other day. And Joe and Jackie and the children and so forth. So it's something that we just walk through. And my
Yeah.
mind was open for that because I was not their biological mother. No trying to pretend. Let's be real here. And I'm in filling in now.
Mm.
And we had a lot of fun together.
So I guess that mindset is what has made it uh,
Yes.
work. It's just that,
Yes.
I'm just filling a role because, that she's gone away. Um,
Right.
so I'm curious to know, since we are on the heels of Mother's Day, what were Mother's Day celebrations like with your new children who had just lost their mother? Was there anything that you did on Mother's Day to honor their mother, or you know what I mean? Was there anything
No,
like
the
spontaneous
transition was very smooth, Kim. It was very smooth. The children just moved right on in, and I was there, and they honored me during Mother's Day. There was a picture of their mother, and we kept the picture up as long as they wanted it up. And one day it just disappeared, and I had nothing to do with that. My husband had nothing to do with that. My son took it down, and that's just the way it was. I was very open, very real with them about it. It was a reality,
Yeah.
and they accepted me, and I'm very pleased. I'm very pleased with that. And Mother's Day, they call me, they send me gifts, and hi mom, and we're real. We're just a big family now. We're
Well,
you know
the way you talk about it, you make it sound like it was just, it was like a switch. It just turned on and everyone's happy and everyone's
exactly. I can't fix it any better
so
than that.
it just doesn't seem realistic. It's like, is that actually possible that there were no problems?
Oh boy.
Uh,
Well,
and
if in any family, a mother, a father, and children, that they all were biologically the same, you have situations that come up. So did we, but it had nothing to do, from my point of view, because I stepped in, and I've never
yeah.
been called a stepmother. I am their mother. I work just as any other mother. So I may have stepped in, but I'm not a stepmother. I'm mothering.
I hear you. I hear you. Well, that's good. That's good. And, it's
Yeah.
interesting because you're right. All families have stuff that they deal with, but what a blessing
Yeah.
that didn't make an extra complication, as it
Right.
often do, within blended families.
One of the things that we did, Cam, if I may just mention here, we had a lot of fun together. We did fun things together, and I think that takes away some of the edge.
Yeah.
We went on trips. We took the kids. We had food in the car. We were going on trips. I packed the food, and I'd have the food in the front seat, passing it back to the back of the kids, and it
Mhm.
was real. It was just real. I grew up like that with my parents, so I transferred that to my family when I had the
Yeah.
children. And
Uh,
then when I got pregnant with David, oh
Yeah.
my, oh, that was the biggest thing in the world for our family, because everybody wanted it's my turn to hold the baby. Mommy, he had him last. And oh, it was a
They
big thing. And
excited for
so
him.
when Christmas came, he was born in October. So when Christmas came, I had all the kids go in the bedroom and shut the door. And then under the tree, I put the baby in one of those little baby seats and sat him up there and put a big bow on him and wrote, this was a present to Dad for Christmas. And they came out and they fell out and just, David just laughed. I mean, the baby just
Yeah.
laughed, he grinned. Oh, it was just so fun. He was October, November, December. He was about 3 months old, you
Yeah.
know.
Oh wow.
And they had a lot of fun with the baby.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
was the child that connected the families. He really
Hmm.
was. This baby made our family one family because he was now the one that brought them together. So that was a very interesting thing.
What is the age difference? How long after did David come along? So he's
Oh, I got pregnant right away.
oh, okay. So
Yeah, I think we
well,
met and we got together that night. I think the baby was being introduced.
takes no time.
The Lord is on time. He just all I know. In fact, it was so funny because I remember one of the ladies from the church where I was living before I got married. She said, "Now, Joe, when did you meet Clark? When did you get married?" I said, "Sweetheart, it's been 9 months. It's been 9 months."
She was doing the
And
math.
yeah, she was counting the fingers. I said, "We waited until after we were married." Praise the Lord.
And that's it. That's it. Oh, that is so
Those
funny.
are real things. That's real life.
Well, I see the reason why you all wrote the book on becoming a
Yes,
professional lover.
yes,
Okay,
yes.
I see why now.
Oh my.
Um, so for those who don't know, David Thomas is a member of Take Six. So she gave birth to someone who would become quite well known. Of course, you had no way of knowing that then, but
Yes.
isn't that something? So what memories do you have? You kind of gave one with you all traveling in the car and you passing sandwiches. Are any funny memories though, in particular, of your family, you with your kids? I mean, you had 5 kids, so you can't tell, and boys, some boys at that. So I'm sure there has to be some memory of some of their antics. Maybe some that weren't so funny at the time, but are funny now in hindsight. Can you?
Well, we have some well, back in the day, videos, is that what, not videos, they were
Also,
pictures, the old
real.
movie pictures. Yeah, right. And in them, the children, Jackie and Brian, they were young then,
Mhm.
and they were trying to show their muscles and look, the one pushing the other one out, I'm stronger, and that was a lot of fun. And when we look back at that, it really makes you laugh.
Oh,
And then there were times when it was stormy weather. We couldn't go on a picnic. We just had a picnic in the living room. We put all the furniture back, put the sheets on the floor. We brought the picnic food in. We sat around and just had a good time watching old videos and movies that we had made. And that was a lot of fun. There are just a lot of ways to have fun. You don't have to have money. Just have
yeah.
fun. We planned it that way. So, and then another thing we did, Kim, every week we had what we called family night, family
Mhm.
night. And sometimes we'd get the pictures that you paint with the numbers. We'd have all those pictures. Everybody would go,
Yeah.
we'd go to TSS in New York and everybody pick out their picture and then we'd paint, we'd come home and paint. And
Mhm.
then we had a couple of little funny shows that we would watch. And that was just a lot of fun. That was something we did every week. It was called family night. That was on Thursday night. And
Mhm.
then we would go shopping in the grocery store, and the kids would put David and Russell in. Was Russell born then? Everything was Patty and David at the time, and Jackie and Brian would push them around the store while Daddy and I did the shopping. So little things that wouldn't seem like a lot of fun to anybody else, but it was fun for us. We would be
Yeah.
getting the groceries, and they're running around and driving and shooting around the store. It's a wonder they
Right.
didn't hurt anybody, but we came through that. But
Did
that
you
was
ever
fun for us.
did
Hmm.
you ever experience overwhelm with having the responsibility of mothering 5 children?
I don't think having the children was overwhelming, but I do recall as the boys were becoming young men, sometimes there were issues that would come up, and Daddy would say, Mom, it's okay. I'll take care of this. I'll handle this. Because the boys would rise up as being strong, and they could overpower me with their words. And Daddy would say, Joe, just be quiet. I'll take care of this. And then he would handle
Mm-hmm.
it. So he was always there for me. Not that they were just showing that they're tough and they can manage, handle me. But Daddy would
Yeah.
took care of it. Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
it
I
was,
would
and then a lot of times before, as they were growing up as well, we would go on the lawn and they would put on their shorts, and I would take the hose and hose them and whatever. And if it's getting late, I just get a bar of soap, throw the soap out there, let them soap up and wash them down. And we go in there, had their baths for the evening. So we made fun out of everything. So we did. And then the joke was to wrestle mom down, who can get
imagine.
mom down. So at a certain point, I couldn't do it anymore. But while I could, I would take them down. the
You
two
were
older
showing who was
boys.
boss.
I could
Uh-huh.
take them down, but after a while, I just fall down because they were too strong for me. So I didn't give them any resistance. So it wasn't any more
Right.
fun. But we did a
Yeah.
lot of fun things like that.
Yeah. So, what would you say? So you're a mom. You've been a mom, a grandma. Now you're a great grandmother.
Yes.
What advice would you give to someone who's just starting, who's maybe 26 years old and has a newborn? Like, what kind of advice do you give to new moms as they're
I would
trying?
say now, I was a nurse, and child care and all that was a part of my study, and anatomy and physiology, just the human body, knowing how it works and functions. That's important. I think women who are going to become mothers should understand the human body. There are a lot of books out there. They've got programs that you can study so that you can be familiar with your own body and with the ages of children as they grow, how they develop. That's a good thing. I would recommend that you understand that and be comfortable with that. I would also say you and God become friends. It's something that God ordained and designed. We didn't plan this. This was God's idea, God's plan, and He knows how to manage it and to help us. So I think if God is your partner and your friend, that you can do anything. And there are times when I remember times, Kim, when even in relationship with my husband, there were times when a woman gets tired, and I'd be at the children, getting them to school, getting the lunches and all that goes with that, the house, the clothes, just everything, keeping everything on track, that you're just physically tired. And there were times I would say to the Lord, "Dear Lord, I want to love my husband physically tonight. I want to make this nice for him. Give me the energy and the strength." And He would do that. I'm
Mm,
saying all that even in intimate situations, God is my friend.
mm,
The answer is make God your friend. Oh, I'm
mhm.
losing my earbud here. God is your
Oh,
friend, and He's the one that designed marriage and family. So, hey, go to Him and know that
so
you can do that. I really can't
yeah.
stress that enough, because in marriage and family, you are going to run into some stressors. There is a creature called Satan, and he wants to destroy the family.
Mm,
Never in my mind and never in my husband's mind did we ever think about divorce. That would
mm,
destroy our children. Death is bad enough, but divorce is hard. That can be dealt with as well. Even if you're going through that and you're in that situation, God is your friend and your helper. I cannot stress that enough. He has been there for me. Right now, my husband is sick, and it
mm,
takes energy to take care of a sick person. And I
right.
say, God, you chose me, so you and I can do this job. So that's been my motto
Mhm.
all my life with my children.
Yeah.
And I've enjoyed being a mother. I really have.
That's awesome. I mean, it's very inspiring to hear
Yes,
you have had
yes.
all the experiences that you've had. Just really that refrain of depending
And
on
Kim,
God.
one more thing I would say, that I grew up with a mother and a father and a brother. So I was
Mhm.
ready for men. My mom said she had three children. My father was the oldest, and my brother and I were the younger ones because he played with us. He was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So I was comfortable being with men. And if you're from a home of just women, then you need to study about men so you can be comfortable with men, because you're going to have boy children possibly. And you need to know how boys and girls are different. They look alike in a lot of ways, but they think differently and have
Mhm.
different needs. So address
Mhm.
you won't. I say just read and study and talk with other women who have been experienced. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
The Bible admonishes us that the younger women should talk with the Christian mothers who are older, and let them help you through. Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's been I've always been willing to do that.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I imagine the older women, and then having peers who are kind of going through things with you, at the same
Right.
time that you are.
Exactly.
Did
Exactly.
you have
Exactly. Yeah.
girlfriends that you were close to during those early years, especially?
Say that again now. I had girlfriends who were going through
Did you
similar.
also have? Well, I was just asking if you had. I'm assuming you had older women in your life who were like mentors, and I was asking if you also had like girlfriends who were sort of in the same at the same place in life as you? Did you have friends that you
I
were
did
able
not have anyone that I knew, but my mom was my greatest hero, my heroine, or whatever you want to call her. She was
to?
just a delightful person, and she made home life very fun, very nice. She was,
Hmm.
she was a person that when her no was no, it was no. I like that about her, and I try to do that with my children. We had a lot of fun, but there's a time when the no is no, because
Hmm.
children will try to get by you, break
Hmm.
you down.
Yes.
But you
So
can
you
love,
still
that's also loving them by being firm
love
at times within a loving
oh,
manner. Yes.
definitely. Yeah.
Hmm.
Did you still have your mother during this time in your life when you after you got married and had children? Were you able to still?
Yes, my mom was still living, and
Yeah.
she lived to be 92 years old. So
Wonderful. So you were able to.
she enjoyed my grandchildren, her great grands. Yeah, she
Yeah.
enjoyed them. Hmm.
Wow. So which is better, being a mom or a grandmom?
I wouldn't say one's better than the other. It gets more delightful as it goes along. Yeah, and when
Oh,
they
it
call me Nana, then all the kids, everybody calls me Nana now because that's what the grandkids call me. And
mm-hmm.
I love them so much. I really do. And
Yeah.
in fact, today I was in a group um, of family and some family gathering for a wedding. And some little kids ran up to me and said, "Hi, Nana." Hi. And I couldn't remember them. They're children's children from
Yes.
cousins.
Yes.
Ah, but they were so excited just to be saying Nana.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it carries that word to me is tender and caring. So
Yes.
you don't want to be a mean. But anyway,
You should never
you're
be
just a
that. You
caring, soft person. Yeah. Yeah. I've always loved children, Kim.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like you're a natural at it, from what I can tell. I actually we have a scripture for today, and I think it's quite appropriate. It's from Proverbs 22:6.
Yes, I love that.
Start children off on the way they should go. This is a different translation than what we may be accustomed to, but start children off on the way they should go, and when they are old, they will not
Not
turn from
depart
it.
from it. Hmm.
So is
Hmm.
that true? Is that really true? Because kids grow up, they become adults, they have their own lives and make their own decisions. Do you see that still, that scripture playing out in your life with your children, grandchildren, great grandchildren? How do you?
Well, let me tell you what happened. That's a very important question that you ask, because when your children grow up, they're no longer, they don't respond to you the way they did when they were children. They're now
Mhm.
grown and have their own children. And
Yeah.
I can't correct them. I found myself about to say, "Son, don't you think should you do, would you, don't you don't want to do that, do you?" Then I would say to myself, "Hush." There's a text in the Bible where the Lord says, "Shut up." That's my translation. Hush. And I'm God. So what I do now, I discovered I have to go. I can't look at what my children do if I think it's out of order. You know what I mean? It's something
Yeah.
that I wouldn't do as
Right.
a Christian. But I have to love them. And God says, "I will take care of them. You just love them." The command is to love, not to correct. These are
Mm-hmm.
grown people. They're not children anymore. They're grown people, and they have children. And you have to bite your tongue sometimes, sit back, go in the closet and say, "Lord, I give them to you." And then there's another text where the Lord says in Isaiah, this is my favorite, Kim, Isaiah 49, beginning, I think, with verse 22, the last part of verse 22, where God says, "I am the Lord. You will know that I am the Lord." This is what he says. "You will know that I am the Lord. And they
Mm-hmm.
that wait on me," and wait means being still but with expectation. "Wait
Mm-hmm.
on the Lord and watch him do. You will not be ashamed if you wait on me." Then he says, "Shall the prey be taken from the mighty? Shall the lawful captive be delivered? Yes, I will contend with him who contends with you, and I will save your children." Hey, so
Yeah.
sometimes when I get up ready to, pouncing and jump, I said, "Up, up, up, step back. These
Yeah.
are grown people. They're grown now and they have children, and you just have to Let the Lord
Sure.
do what He said He was going to do, because you can't save them. They're on their own now. It's between them
Yeah,
and God, and I can relax knowing that God has promised me victory. So
that's
that's
good.
my consolation.
That's good. And the scripture that we read, it's really you do your part and let
Yes,
God take the rest, right?
yes,
Like you
yes,
plant the
yes,
seed.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that's good. Well, this has been such a lovely conversation. I thank you for your words of wisdom and some of the stories from the life that you've had with your children who are now grown and have their own children. This has
Right.
just, it's been great having you with us today to
May I
talk
say
about all
one
that.
more thing?
Absolutely.
This is what I would say. I'm glad you're doing this program, Kim, because as women, we don't talk to each other to share our experiences. That's how we help one another, by sharing
Absolutely.
our experiences, not trying to hide, because they're going through the same thing our parents went through, and a different it's all the same. We're raising families and growing, and we're growing toward God's kingdom, and we're doing
Exactly.
that together. We certainly would help a lot if we did it together to help each other.
Indeed, indeed. And we become overwhelmed and burdened and stressed out when we think that we're the only
Right,
one
right.
dealing with it. That
I've had
we're
other
all
mothers come
alone.
and we talk through situations, and I've never shared that with anybody. Just between the two people, we've shared things together that we keep private.
Yeah, very
If someone
important.
comes to share something with you about their family, you all talk through it. That's fine. You leave it right there and close the book. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah. That's how we
yes,
help each other. Hmm.
yes. We call it the sister circle.
There
Get
you
yourself
go. There
a
you
circle.
go.
Very
Okay, darling.
awesome. Well, stay put. We're gonna say goodbye to everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Be sure to tune in again next week. There's a beautiful young lady that I want to introduce you to. I've known her since she was a teenager. I'm not that much older than her, mind you, but she's now a mother of I think she has 3 children, and she has this an experience to share, and she has beautiful children, but she's also suffered terrible loss. And as we said today, that's life. It has its ups and downs. Motherhood is many challenges, many joys, and we're here to share both with one another. So I hope you'll join us next week. And thank you for being here today. Thank you, Aunt Joe. Love
You're
you so
quite
much.
welcome.
Mwah. We'll see
Thank you.
everyone next time. Bye bye.
Hey girl, thanks for watching today. Be sure to join us next week and every week in May as we celebrate moms. Whether you are one or have one, there's lots to talk about every Saturday in May, so join us.